In the Douglas Adams book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, an advanced race wants the answer to life, the universe, and everything. So they build a computer to crunch the numbers. 7.5 million years later, deep thought announces the answer is 42. It took so long to calculate the answer that it forgot what the question was. Maybe it wouldn't have taken so long had the Magratheans used a quantum computer, or maybe networked a few of those quantum computers together. Meet Sonali Mohapatra, the Quantum Innovation Sector Lead at the National Quantum Computing Centre in Oxford, England.
I get super excited about the use cases of quantum computing. I can see that quantum computers can be used for transformative changes to the way we live and the way we work in the society as humanity collective.
Mohapatra is a trained physicist, experienced quantum researcher, and innovation strategist. At the NQCC, she's tackling the challenge of scaling quantum computing and its practical adoption. If scientists think quantum computers are powerful today, what happens when we start networking them together tomorrow? The answer to that question isn't 42, is it?
Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it, Michael?
Explain what the National Quantum Computing Centre does, like you're explaining it to your parents.
Well, the National Quantum Computing Centre is the UK's national lab for quantum computing. We tackle the challenge of scaling quantum computers. You might have already heard that there are some small-scale quantum computers getting online in the clouds everywhere in the world. At the moment, multiple companies are coming up with their own versions of quantum computers. But how do we make these quantum computers bigger and better, and something that very different people in society and different industries will be able to use? This is the challenge that we are tackling at the National Quantum Computing Centre in the UK. We're tackling specifically the challenge of scaling these quantum computers and making sure that quantum computers can be adopted by society and getting the society quantum ready.
Tell me about that adoption, because quantum computers won't be used like regular computers.
You're absolutely correct there. Quantum computers are a very different kind of computers to the regular computers that we use today. They are specifically going to be better at certain types of problems. These types of problems could be simulation-specific problems, such as simulating things which are like nature, so potentially molecules that exist in nature, because these are quantum systems. At the moment, we have many approximate methods to be simulating those molecules. But if we have quantum computers, we would be able to simulate real molecules to the exact details. This would unlock opportunities to simulate bigger and better drug molecules, leading to advancements in medicine. We might be able to discover new ways of capturing carbon. We would be able to discover new materials, for example, which could be used everywhere, starting from batteries to space travel. Quantum computers are also really good at cryptography. They would be used to find bigger and better cryptographic systems of the future. We might have also heard that they are also a threat to our current cryptographic systems. And there are scientists around the world looking at how we can use quantum computers to actually make more resilient cryptographic systems of the future. Quantum computers are also going to be really good at complex optimization problems. So, for example, weather modeling or climate change modeling, or looking at, for example, predicting when the next solar flares and solar storms are going to happen, and making sure that our power grids are not going to be affected. So these are just some examples of the type of problems that we're going to be tackling with the quantum computers of the future.
How far away is that future? Where are we on that journey to quantum computing?
People in various different industries are actively researching using those early stage quantum computing platforms. However, in order to actually come to a point which we call quantum advantage, where quantum computers are going to be capable of solving problems which a current classical supercomputing cluster, for example, would not be able to solve today. So, interesting problems that we are unable to solve by using current resources, we are still quite a few years away from that particular dream. However, there's a lot of research going into tackling the problems that we need to solve before we can come to that future in the next 10 years. These could be, error correction, for example. Quantum systems are very, very They're very sensitive because these are very tiny particles, quantum particles. So let's say a single light particle or a photon, which we are trying to trap, or a single ion, which we are trying to trap, and then connect to multiple other light particles or ions. And then we're trying to stabilize them in an environmental condition. So we need, these produce a lot of noise, for example. So we need to correct that noise and errors that, interacting with each other or with various different kinds of environmental conditions could produce. That's one type of research stream that scientists are tackling at the moment. We also need better quantum algorithms. We also need better quantum hardware. And we also need to understand how we can actually practically put together many different types of quantum processors and chips and build much larger quantum computing systems, which would be able to tackle practical problems and not just small-scale toy problems.
So, unlike regular computers, quantum computers excel in solving very specific problems that require an enormous amount of data all at once, like simulating molecules in drug discovery, optimizing power grids, and predicting climate change. As research progresses over the next decade, advancements will pave the way for practical large-scale quantum computing systems, capable of answering today's unsolvable questions. Well, maybe not about life. When it comes to use cases, the primary one that I hear a lot about is security. What will quantum computing bring to businesses that we don't already have? What does quantum do for enterprise?
Quantum can have a lot of advantages for enterprises. Enterprises, for example, have a lot of optimization problems. It can provide advantages in, for example, supply chain optimization. It can provide advantages to financial services industry, for example, in optimizing their portfolios. It can also provide advantages around security by making sure that we are transitioning into a future which is into a cryptographic future, which is quantum safe. And regulators such as the NCA are already trying to work with us, the Quantum Computing Center, as well as the hubs around the UK, such as the Quantum Computing and Simulation Hub, as well as banks around the world and regulators around the world, trying to understand how we can go into that future. There's other industries, such as the medicine industry, will be able to use quantum computers, for example, to solve challenging optimization problems such as pager allocation or bed allocation, or optimization of nurse rotas. And these are practical challenges that we are facing today in the world. Other interesting use cases could be developing precision medicine, which are tailored to your physical system and not just, made for all approximate medicine that we are used to today. So we will be able to simulate reactivity predictions for how does this particular drug react with a particular subsystem of a particular organ or a particular molecule in somebody's body. And these are challenging problems that we need to be tackling. We need to be preparing for if we want to have the solutions ready in the next 5 to 10 years. There's also interesting use cases in the aerospace sector, in the space sector that people are already tackling, and in the energy space. So we can look at how to optimize our energy grids. We can also look at optimizing energy uses in our houses. So how do we make sure that we're minimizing our energy uses? And this is a very topical use case because of the current energy crisis that we are all facing as well.
Advances in battery development and carbon capture are critical for addressing climate change. Quantum computers offer significant benefits for enterprise, especially in optimization and security. Industries like financial services can use it to optimize portfolios, while healthcare can streamline tasks like theater and bed allocation. And the NQCC's hackathons have suggested new, exciting use cases. Many of them will save lives. I love hackathons because you never know what you're going to get out of one of them when you host one. What are some of your favorite use cases for quantum computing that have come out of the NQCC's funded projects?
So these are very interesting opportunities for people to get involved in and actually get very hands-on usage, directly start to get, hands dirty with, say, quantum computers, and get mentored by some of the leading industry experts in quantum computing who work with the NQCC and provide this kind of mentorship during the hackathons. Some of my favorite use cases from some of the projects that we have funded are around NHS optimization, NHS bed allocation, paper optimization, for example, where one of the companies that we have partnered with, known as Applied Quantum Computing, has partnered with NHS partners as well in the background, and they're looking at this particular optimization use case. There's other use cases where a particular company is again looking at how they can tackle the challenge of loading containers on an aircraft and optimizing the loading of this container so they can minimize the carbon emissions. They can maximize fuel efficiency. Did you know that the fuel efficiency of an aircraft actually depends on how containers are loaded around the center of gravity of the aircraft? So, it's an exciting job. You find out new things every day, and then you use this information to make sure that you're going towards a better future for humanity. And, how do we provide this advantage to societal and human benefit? So those are some of my favorite use cases. We're expecting to see, starting to see more and more use cases around better battery development. I think this is going to be some of the very exciting use cases being developed further and further in the upcoming years. We're also starting to see use cases around, let's say, discovery of new materials around carbon capture. And I'm really excited about that because we very much know we're seeing extreme weather conditions everywhere in the world. That if climate change is going to be one of the biggest problems we are getting to tackle going forward, together as humanity, collectively.
We saw the exponential potential of traditional computers once we networked them together and called it the cloud. What happens when we network quantum computers together?
That's a very interesting question. The idea of networking quantum computers together is still very much in the early stages, but it's definitely an idea which has potential. And again, scientists are already starting to work together on the quantum computers and the networking bits and blocks that we are going to need to create this quantum internet or quantum network of the future. Quantum network is not going to be only connecting quantum computers. It could also have benefits by connecting other kinds of quantum technologies, such as quantum sensors or quantum key distribution. I think the first benefit of a large-scale quantum network is going to be secure communications around the globe by using quantum key distribution. That's very much needed because we already know the threats that quantum computers bring to our current cryptographic systems. We will be able to transition to a much more secure and resilient internet, a much more secure and resilient worldwide global cryptographic network. The second thing, we will be able to connect various different quantum sensors around the world, which would be able to make much more accurate predictions of, let's say, environmental conditions around the world or medical diagnostics. Quantum sensors are already starting to be used for brain diagnostics, for various different kinds of neurological conditions. And we will be able to upload those data, for example, into quantum computers, again, networked around the world. And this again unlocks a massive new paradigm of computational power by networking quantum computers as well as quantum sensors around the world. So I think as many of these emerging technologies, we are able to envision some of the benefits that we are going to get from this network. But as with any new emerging technology, we might not even be able to imagine some of the benefits that we will unlock along this journey. So it's very important to keep experimenting. It's very important to be innovative. It's very important to keep challenging the current state of the art. And that's what we like to do at the National Quantum Computing Center, as well as working together with the ecosystem to make sure that we and stakeholders across the UK and where appropriate globally as well into that collaborative environment.
That's the thing that I absolutely love about technology. You can take a bunch of disparate technologies that don't seem to be related, connect them together to create new things. And it seems like that's a lot of what you're talking about here. And when it comes to that connecting, we already have networks powered by ones and zeros. How would a quantum network work? Is it traditional fiber optics? Is it quantum entanglement?
Very interesting question again. As you mentioned, we already have, regular computers which are networked, and regular computers work on bits, which are these little switches which can be turned on and off. And those states we refer to as 0 or 1. Now, quantum computers are very different to regular computers. Instead of bits, they have qubits, which are quantum bits, basically. Now, quantum bits, because these are quantum particles, fundamentally how quantum particles behave, and because of the quantum property known as superposition, they could be both 0 or 1 together. until and unless you make a measurement. Now, this particular property of superposition is what allows this massively new computational power that quantum computing brings to us, together with entanglement. Entanglement basically means that different quantum particles can be connected together in a way, not physically, but they can be connected together in a way, entangled together in a way that if you change the state of one particle, the state of the other particle, however far it is in the world, it is going to change instantaneously. Now, these very much form the backbones of current quantum computers. They will continue to form the backbones of the quantum networks going forward. Now, in order to connect various different quantum processors of the quantum network, which would be in the nodes of the quantum network, we could, again, this is from a quantum communications perspective, we could do quantum photons over fiber optic cables. We could be sending those photons to fiber optic cables. There is a distance limit on how far these photons can travel without losing their properties, because these are very sensitive particles we're talking here. So we need specialized instruments, specialized things known as quantum repeaters. And there has been, again, advancements made in the last 3 years on quantum repeaters, which are going to be joining those networks and create entanglements at various parts of this network to preserve it. Quantum communication can also be done through free space by sending photons over free space to a satellite. And this is what I was doing in my previous role, actually. So it's very exciting for me to talk about it as well. And there's multiple CubeSat, QPT missions coming up around the world and from the UK as well. So you will be able to send a photon from one ground station here to a satellite. That satellite's going to go on its orbit to a different part of the world, send the photons down to a different ground station to establish a secure peace between the two parties who are trying to communicate securely. Now, what's going to happen here is that because of this quantum theorem known as the cloning theorem, we can't clone quantum particles. So anyone who's trying to measure that secure key is always going to alter the state of that quantum particle, and we will always be alerted to the presence of a eavesdropper. So we have the option to just start that key and start anew again. That is how we're going to be going into a quantum secure future.
It sounds like the greatest challenge to making a global quantum computer network function is actually getting the people to work together. How are you doing that?
You've hit the nail on the head there. I think one of the biggest challenges that we're facing is a big lack of skills and talents. And this often happens when we are looking at technological breakthroughs, or when we're going through different kinds of industrial revolution. This will fall under Industrial Revolution 2.0. So we actually call this the second quantum revolution. We already use quantum systems. We already are in quantum 1.0 because we use electricity everywhere. Electricity is powered by electrons. These are quantum particles. We have LCD screens. We have lots of transistors, for example. All of these use quantum mechanical properties. What we have managed to do in the second quantum revolution is that we are able to manipulate single quantum particles, and we are able to use them for various different kinds of outcomes. That is the difference. Now, again, here, there is a specific challenge of training the workforce around using these quantum technologies, these quantum repeating technologies, as well as making sure that we can get to a point where everybody in the world is able to use quantum computers without using specialized quantum knowledge. We shouldn't need a PhD in quantum to be using that quantum computer. Similarly, exactly the same way, you don't need to understand how transistors work or how a regular PC works to be able to use NQCC. So what was developed is really important to the NQCC, and we do have a program called Quantum Readiness and Spark program, which is a flagship program for end user engagement, which we launched in 2022. And under that, we have developed courses, both for professional development, for people looking to shift into quantum or upskill into quantum within that industry. But we are also starting to think around how do we take this to schools and start getting quantum education embedded within schools. And we do have a quantum readiness leads and our outreach officers fully working in this particular area to tackle this particular really important one that needs to happen along with the development of the technology.
When you were a little girl, did you ever think at some point in the future you'd be working in quantum computing?
I actually really wanted to work in quantum and space. When I was a little girl, we did actually used to have a computer in my home. So my mom used to take me to the internet cafe. I would print out and cut off magazine cutouts as well as newspaper cutouts. And I still have that folder of major discoveries in quantum and major discoveries about black holes and so on. And this was in 7th grade when I was doing pretend research. So, who knew I would start actually working in quantum or space? It's actually been a dream come true.
What excites you the most about the power of networking quantum computers together?
I get super excited about the use cases of quantum computing. I can see that quantum computers can be used for transformative changes to the way we live and the way we work in the society as humanity collective. I think some of the use cases, such as in energy, in healthcare, in medicine, in space, are going to completely change how we work together. I encourage everyone to be a part of this journey by getting involved in quantum and bringing your unique skills to the quantum workforce.
Networking quantum computers will secure our communications, help doctors save lives, and help us fight climate change. But making this vision a reality involves overcoming technical challenges like the need for quantum repeaters, advancements in fiber optics, and satellite communications. The true power of quantum computing, though, lies in the network effect, where collaboration and collective efforts will drive the transformation of industry and society. Quantum computing will help us answer the big questions about our environment, the world inside our bodies, and life in outer space. As for the answer to life, the universe, and everything, check back in 7.5 million years. I'm Michael Hainsworth. Thanks for joining us.